Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about President Trump and how he's been killing it lately. Specifically this week, he's been doing a lot of great work. Most notably, he basically found peace in the Middle East. People aren't talking much about that because the media is focusing on the social distancing at the summit happening at the White House. But that's besides the point. That's another big story we've already covered partially. Today we're talking about sports again. In fact, specifically, we're talking about football. Football is a sport that's been pretty controversial this year, mostly because the National Football League has decided to get really woke. They're terrible BLM activists now. And in addition, one of their former star players, Colin Kaepernick, he hasn't played in 5 years, by the way, but he's still noted as some kind of former NFL player, which is weird because he didn't even retire at an old age with a very, very successful career. It's like, no, Colin Kaepernick was let go because he wasn't that good. And then he got himself famous by race baiting and pretending everyone's racist and blah, 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 blah. Colin Kaepernick and the NFL shenanigans is a big part of the reason NFL has been waning in American society. People don't care anymore. The ratings are down. They just started the season last week and the ratings are way, way down, like 30%. And it shows. It should, because they're really, really being anti-American and awful. And that's why people have high hopes for college football this year. I've always kind of preferred college football. I love watching my Florida Gators team each year. That's my alma mater. And they're always really, really competitive and awesome. And they're on track. The SEC part of college football is certainly returning this year, but one of the other conferences had said they were not going to play pretty early on. The Big Ten football season was canceled prematurely, and a lot of people were upset about that. That's another major conference. Probably the only one that compares to the SEC is the Big Ten, and that has some big teams like Michigan and stuff like that, and they didn't get to play this year. They already canceled them prematurely, which really seemed like a political move since a lot of these other sports are carrying on in certain ways. The NFL, the NBA, the baseball, they all found ways to come back. So for the Big Ten to try to cancel so early, it just seemed like, hey, they're trying to make this pandemic look worse, or they're just giving up and being lazy or something. I don't know. But the point of today's story is Donald Trump might have saved college football. He might have saved specifically the Big Ten football season. As you can see by this article from Barstool Sports, it says, is Donald Trump going to save the Big Ten football season? So this talks about how he basically spoke out about this. He campaigned and said something like this. He said, I had a very productive conversation with Kevin Warren, commissioner of Big Ten, about immediately starting up Big Ten football. Would be good, great for everyone, players, fans, country, on the 1 yard line. So Trump took this issue to heart. He realizes that the American people, we need these kinds of pastimes. We need distractions, entertainment, and these college students, they want to play and they should. If there's a way to do it safely, we could test everyone, keep them away from the fans, do the empty stands or whatever they got to do. There's a way to do it. And if there's a will, there's a way, and we should have it happen. And this tweet happened on September 1st. This is a bit of an older preface. This is the beginning of the month, but now just a few weeks later, and it appears to have come true because as you could see by this video, it actually just announced that Big Ten reversed the decision. So let's check the video and then we'll talk some more.
This is a really significant development. It is big news about the Big Ten. Big Ten football is coming back.
Okay, there's a little music video here, and it's just Trump saved it. Big Ten is back. They canceled it, and Trump brought it back. So let's see what he says here.
I'm the one that wants to have football.
I'm the one that wants to have football. Trump is the one that fixed this. And, it does seem, again, I could see why people might not think this is super important. It's like a very, very trivial kind of sporting thing. But again, people need their sports. We need distractions and entertainment, and the people playing need to keep their jobs going. It's a business. That's the other thing. You got to remember, he's keeping people employed. So if Trump can mention it in a few speeches and make a few phone calls, I think that's pretty badass. And I think it's cool that he's thinking of the people. And then Big Ten, they might have been getting woke and political before, but I really do think that's possible that Trump saved football, and it could be a good sign. This is another good sign. This is a good reason for a lot of these people that follow Big Ten sports. They're going to think, hey, Trump helped us out. He's a good dude, and he's trying to save us. And it didn't seem like it was going to happen a few weeks ago, as it says here in the previous article. It says, was this just for Trump's campaign? Was my hope just being used for Trump to up his chances for battleground states, or is he actually trying to save the Big Ten football season? season. Big Ten's call with White House was very positive. A return is now on the table thanks to White House willing to distribute rapid tests. So he's even offering tests, like giving them more kind of benefit. This is going to test everyone. And if everyone's tested, you just keep out the people that are sick. And it's a pretty simple way to stop the spread. I mean, it still could happen. There's always accidents and tests aren't always 100% accurate. There could be a problem there with the test or the tester. But yeah, Trump really did it. He did. He went further than he had to, and he saved Big Ten. Here's more details from ESPN. It says, Big Ten football to resume weekend of October 24th. The Big Ten will kick off its football season the weekend of October 24th. The league's presidents and chancellors unanimously voted to resume competition, citing daily testing capabilities and a stronger confidence in the latest medical information. The conference announced on Wednesday morning. Each team will attempt to play 8 games in 8 weeks, leaving no wiggle room during the coronavirus pandemic before the Big Ten championship game on December 19th. That date will also feature an extra cross-division game for each season, with seeded teams in each division squaring off. The Big Ten will complete its season before December 20th selection day for college football playoffs. So they're back. We have time. I noticed a few things were coming back later this year, like they kind of had to wait. I believe sometimes college football starts a few weeks earlier. I even remember having some early on games in August. I don't know if that's still the schedule, the way it goes, but yeah, Big Ten is jumping in. That's a big good news. That's going to really keep the thing competitive. If they weren't in this year's playoff contenders, that would leave out a lot of major teams like Penn State, Wisconsin. These are the ones they're missing. They're mentioning Michigan. These are big players, and this is a big win for Trump and the right. I mean, this is a big win for America. Like I said, I'm really happy. And as far as I could tell, besides the Big Ten maybe trying to hold out because of political reasons, but the rest of college football has been pretty chill. I haven't seen any BLM stuff, any kind of like woke activism. I haven't seen the politics yet. I'm sure it could happen. I'm sure some of the players are going to wear a BLM thing or kneel or something. I haven't seen it yet, though. Hopefully they keep it better and they recognize that the reason the NFL is failing right now is because they're doing all that anti-American crap. So college football really has good reason to do well this year. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really happy that this happened. Penn State Athletic Director Sandy Bourbon said that the Big Ten has agreed to have no fans attending games this season, which will be held on campus throughout the season. The league is working on a plan to allow families of players and staff to attend both home and away games. Wisconsin Athletic Director Betty Alvarez said the schedule will be released later this week. Great news today. Over the past month, I could sense the anticipation from our players and coaches, and I'm thrilled on their behalf that they will have a chance to play a 2020 season, stay positive, test negative. Let's play football. Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh said Wednesday in a prepared statement. Big Ten on August 11th initially postponed its fall sports seasons, including football, because of concerns about the pandemic. The presidents and chancellors voted 11-3 to postpone, with only Nebraska, Ohio State, and Iowa electing to proceed, sources said. League bylaws required at least 60% of presidents and chancellors to approve a return of the fall season. Following the postponement, Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren formed a return to competition task force, which this past week presented to the presidents and chancellors, reviewed daily antigen testing, enhanced cardiac screening, and data-driven approach to make decisions about practices and competition. So this is just more finer details, talking about testing and the voting process and how they needed 60% to bring it back. Apparently they got that. And I think Trump offering the more tests was really the catalyst that caused this. I think it would have been harder for them to come back without something new brought to the table like that. Like if they just said, oh, all of a sudden we changed our minds, they certainly would have looked bad. So they're given an out. Trump gave them like a way to win. He said, here, we want to play football. We want the country to get back to normal. Here's some more tests. And that gives them an excuse to bring it back without kind of looking bad. Trump gave them the kind of honorable way out. And that's why I say, Trump did save this. He should get some credit. I mean, obviously these guys are the ones voting on it. Obviously ESPN would rather nuance this away from Trump. They're like a Disney owned company who's probably trying to spin this as hard as they can, but it's pretty obvious that this is coming from Trump. I don't think they actually mention it in this story. Yeah, they don't mention Trump at all. So this is actually funny to mention and go over this because we know that those extra tests are coming from the president. I don't believe he's mentioned in this article. Let's go and try. He approved the decision in the end. So this is towards the end of the article. They don't mention the fact that Trump called him in. He took calls with them. He offered them more tests. And I think that is really a telling part of the story. That's the real catalyst. That's the real big news, is that Trump saved the Big Ten, which is a big part of college football. I mean, I could have really cared less. I'm more focused on my own teams, but I recognize that this is another big conference. These are big states. These are big schools. Thousands and thousands thousands of people watch from them. And Trump really deserves some credit. Like I said, I'm not going to give it all to him. It's not like, oh, he did it all by himself, but he certainly gave him an out. He gave him a catalyst to kind of move forward and say, hey, here's some more tests. This is your excuse to bring it back. Everyone else is coming back. You know, you might have spoke too soon. I understand you thought about getting political, but you could still reverse course and save your football season. It's important to have these things in college. I know college is totally messed up right now. It's totally liberal dominated too, and totally taken over by propagandists and what have you. But the point is, this is where our youth go to learn. This is where people go to grow up, to enjoy life and get a little experience before they move on and become adults and get real big boy jobs and stuff like that. So another part of college, at least for me, at least for people going to these big schools like I did, is, you know, you go to school, you pick your courses, and then you have these sports on the weekend. That's where everybody hangs out. It's really exciting. And it's exciting for the rest of the country too. Like the rest of us can watch, even graduates still participate, used to go to the games. You can't go to any games this year. That's a little disappointing, but at least they're going to happen. At least we can watch on TV and have a full season of fully competitive college football. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Are you a big fan of college football like me? Do you have a favorite team? Mine's Florida. What's your team? Comment that below. Also, tell me what you think about them not having fans in the stands, not having the full experience. And if you're going to watch at home, are you going to still watch? Do you think this is going to get woke this year? Also, I'm kind of curious if college football is going to go the way of the NFL. NFL is totally dead to me, by the way. I don't know how you guys feel, but let's comment all this below. Let's have some discussion. Also, if you get a chance, hit the like button on this video. That really helps. And subscribe if you're new. We got new videos here twice a day, every day for each month of most of this year. That's the new schedule. It's been doing us really well. I appreciate your guys' input and your thoughts, and I hope you have a good day. Take care.